Why are trash men winning in today's dating market? It's not an accident. The system has been hacked. By ignoring biological reality and the distinct risks that men and women face, women have rewarded and incentivized the worst behaviors. Two hacks have caused this error in dating that created this environment, and the last one might take you by surprise. But follow along with me in my philosophy, and let's determine why the dating market is full of trash men. And before we get started, I want to introduce you ladies to a metric that you can use to evaluate men on the dating market. I call it the male matrix. This framework is structured around three primary dimensions, each containing four distinct elements. Body, this encompasses height, weight, muscle definition, and facial symmetry, essential for a man's genetic qualities aimed at producing a healthy child. Benefits, this includes money, social status, being well-membered, and handsomeness, which represents the perks provided by a reproductive partner. And lastly, the securities. This comprises honesty, loyalty, dedication, and the capacity to care. Traits of a mate that will remain to protect and support a woman and their children. To use it, you would want to determine the value of each individual trait in each column by using the numbers 1 through 5. 3 would be the average, 2, 1 would be below average and way below average. 4 or 5 would be above average, way above average. And you get to determine what is sufficient enough for you personally for the score overall. And we're going to rely on this male matrix as we go through with the rest of this video. Now, wouldn't you like a way to quickly verify a man so that you don't have to waste your time with the wrong one? I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to take a shortcut to vet men? However, shortcuts often have their costs. And this hack allows for security risks to slip under the radar because you're no longer looking for the threat. Time is unforgiving, especially to a woman's window for procreation. So it is a very valuable thing. It hurts a woman to lose this valuable time because once it's gone forever. No changing your mind. So it's understandable to try to develop an efficient way to manage this time and reduce the risk in investment. But that time investment is the key necessary to secure a man. Fully assessing him will require investing valuable time in him. And unfortunately, there is no easy shortcut to this. Hypergamy assumes that because a man rates highly in the benefits column, maybe even the body column, that he automatically has the high score in the security columns as well. This hack tends to come at a huge gamble because the body and benefits column is usually easier to spot. But since the primary focus is there, it weakens the ability to accurately assess the securities column because it is much harder to see. And some women would overlook a security score over the benefits of body and benefit score, possibly leading to a life that looks pleasing on the outside, but maybe pure Hades on the inside. Women often say how a man looks more attractive when he's taken. This is what's known as pre-selection. He has already been vetted by another woman, so he must have a satisfactory score on the male matrix, right? This is an assumption about a man that can only be confirmed through investing time. Because what if the woman doesn't mind not having a male matrix score that you mind having? That then makes your vetting process much more of a gamble. Even if you may say, well, I'll only trust the vetting of my girlfriends or my homegirls. You also don't know what your girlfriends are willing to accept behind the scenes from their men. This is not to say that you need to invest forever or lower your standards. This is just a precautionary tale that when you take a shortcut, don't be surprised if you end up getting lost. Just like losing weight, the slow and consistent manner tends to give the better results than just taking shortcuts that can cost you something greater in the long run. So, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? If something works for someone else, it should work for me too, right? In a fair world, it would make sense that if something works for you, it should also work for me. It makes our world seem so unfair. But what if there are differences we have from each other that set us apart from each other? Is that world still unfair? Men and women have evolved over time to be evolutionarily successful, aka to reproduce. And this comes at a different cost for men and for women. The view of risk helps us to identify why certain strategies that work for the goose don't necessarily work for the gander. Men see risk through the lens of benefit, and a woman see it through the lens of a detriment. The reason being is that if the other one wants to be valuable to a partner, the man would have to go out and venture and find or create the benefit which makes him look for it. And women must maintain and hold on to their purity, which means that they have something to lose, which is why they look at things to the detriment. And thinking like a man makes women see the risk like how a man would, but it makes them ignore the risks that they have evolved over time to be able to watch out for. And this same logic follows men and women in other sectors of life, whether it be for not only survival, but also thriving. Steve Harvey posited that women should act like a lady and think like a man. It sounded decent at first, but after a little bit of digging, it proved not to be so helpful, as he did not actually teach what men really think or how men really think, especially evolutionarily. To men and women, this so-called dating table is actually just a place where a man and a woman trade similar risks for benefits that are not the same and are not interchangeable. The man risks his body, mind, and spirit to take care of his woman and his legacy, and the woman risks the same thing for him to give him a legacy to even protect. And the backfiring from this for women is that when a man secures his child, he doesn't necessarily have to continue to take care of the woman and the child. And this is a danger that women have evolved to look out for, because they've evolved to see that for the risk that it was. But when women try to act and think like a man, they ignore this need and they ignore this security risk. And with women's empowerment, it pushes them towards forgetting about that and looking at over what the man is doing and how the man benefits and the drawbacks of being a man, thinking that if she does those, that is what she then therefore needs to also do to be a equal person in society. But when women do this, where does that leave room for the man to negotiate at the table of risk trading? The sides of the table that are designated for men and women are designated for men and women for a reason. The benefits don't really entice the other group, the male and female. The evolutionary benefits don't really match. And this leaves women to acting like men and chasing the superficial benefits of a man and ignoring the securities of a man to chase career over family building, and engaging in coital risky behavior that ends up leaving them bitter because now, after all of those escapades, they don't have the family they were supposed to have, and they don't have the man that they were supposed to have who is supposed to look out after them and take care of them. When we look back at the male matrix, what I'm pointing out is one category is typically left out and it's not highly valued by itself, and that is the securities column. The securities column is where true benefit for a woman lies for her evolutionary success. This column represents what secures a woman to make her feel safe enough to even have a man's child in the first place. If she acts on the other two columns over the securities, she's rewarding men who don't give her what she actually needs. And since men want to be evolutionarily successful, they're going to bend to the wants and the desires of the women. And they start to notice that the men who get the most play are the ones who succeed in the first two columns. So they put all their effort, energy, and stock into those two columns, and they tend to leave the security columns unnurtured. Because it takes a lot of energy, if you weren't born lucky, to be able to be adept and have a high score in those first two categories. And what I've started to notice and understand is that for a woman, a man who has a low score in securities, she tends to label as trash, no matter whether or not he has high scores in body, benefit, both together or whatnot. When you have a low security score, she will then therefore tend to call you or see you as being a trash man. But the thing is that they are not giving the incentive to the men who are primarily concerned with the securities column. And because they see that, they don't feel incentive to not be trash, because the benefit seems to be going to the men who are trash. And if being a trash man means that they get far enough to be evolutionarily successful, well then there goes your environment and there goes your reason as to why there are so many trash men in the dating market. If this is the current landscape of our mating arrangement, how could it possibly change? How can we even move forward so that more people can be evolutionarily successful? To get rid of trash men, you have to reduce the dating risks for average men and give them a reason to participate in this system. All men need respect and admiration, even if they are average or below average in your mind. Because humans are humans no matter the wage, and nobody deserves to be thrown away for what they make or what they lack. Fixing this will require a couple of shifts in how we see relationships to make sure that we can still get what we need from each other without resorting to childless loneliness or single life coping. The changes that will require only us would be that women need to understand that the old relationship trade was fair. Women need to understand that the sacrifices that men had to make to secure their legacy were backbreaking, life-threatening, and health deteriorating. The same way childbirth is for a woman. It costs the man the same hardship of his body to just commit to providing as it costs a woman to give birth. Childbirth is very beautiful. It's very unique, but and it's good in its own right. But so is a man risking his life for the very being of that child and that woman. How well would it benefit a man to commit to a woman who have his child and then die before the child is even born? This is the risk that men ran back in the Stone Age, and the manner in which our brains still operate today. So women need to understand that those sacrifices of men back in the day were, hard for men, and to appreciate what men had to do to survive, and even so, appreciate what they have to do today to even be able to provide and to be even given the ability to procreate. Another one is that men need to accept the fact that women are never going back in the house. Women will not give up their financial autonomy, especially for men who don't make enough to support a rich lifestyle for themselves and their families. Especially for black men, since, this never really been much of our reality in the first place. Women are now permanent workers in the modern world and will most likely not give that up. Even though because of it, we now have the two-income household trap. No matter the negative implications that it had, it will never go away. You can kind of consider it like AI. Another one is that women need to destigmatize the co-provider model. And I hate to say it, but since you want to work like men, congratulations, you kind of played yourself. Now you have to work the same as men. But the thing is that you have something called the second shift, which is the nurturing that you do. That has never gone away. That is still the, onus of a woman. So since it's a requirement for, both men and women to work now, it would behoove women to look at men mainly as additional providers instead of a sole provider. Feminism convinced women to take on the male risk of provision, and now she has to take two risks. She has to risk her body as far as giving birth, and she has to risk her body as far as making money or protecting and providing. This is the cost of financial autonomy. Even though this is the cost and women are taking up two risks, the thing is that the risk that the man still has to take would be for him to give his life at any given time for you and the children, even while he has to work and keep that on his mind. This is a heavy toll that men must pay, and this still is a fair trade-off for you doing the nurturing housework, although I do believe that men should be contributing to that as well, maybe a little bit more than they actually do. Women need to stop counting chickens before they hatch. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, not a man that finds a good thing then therefore finds a wife. This is backwards logic, and it needs to be reversed. And women should only look for what a man has after they built it together, not what he has before. Reproduction is a natural incentive for men to do great things. But without it, best believe a lot of men aren't really going to do anything. And even more dangerously, if they do want to do something, it will probably be destructive. They need a reason to be successful. And normally, it's for a family. So now the things that require legal measures would be men need alimony to be very systematically only given to the child's transparent needs and not necessarily the mother's lifestyle. Mandatory DNA tests need to be for every birth for the father. There needs to be automatic 50-50 custody agreement for both qualified parents. More blue-collar jobs to hire Americans, Black Americans in specific, and bring back those manufacturing jobs from overseas. Universal and affordable child care, substantial tax credits for families, and affordable multi-bedroom housing. These all reduce the risk that men you lose in this modern dating market. And this will encourage them to try and create families again and get back out there and do great things. So why do trash men exist? because women ironically subsidize them by rewarding them with the ability of not only to procreate with them, but even giving these men the honor of being able to procreate with them first. Women look for the wrong things in men and are discouraged from focusing on their evolutionary goals and their evolutionary weaknesses, which is to secure a man who will take care of them, and are taught to focus on more hypergamous, pre-selective gambles of benefits that, a man offers, and then acting like a man would. The problem being that we are two totally different genders with two totally different relationships with risk, and women are being convinced to not focus on their own and to focus on that of men. This creates the imbalance within the dating marketplace, leading to women to being single mothers, ran through, old, bitter, depressed, lonely, cynical, and unsatisfied with the selection of men in their lives. Feminism seemed like they were looking out for the everyday woman, but once it got paired with big business, it took not only advantage of women, but the entire family structure as well. And if we want this to change, it would behoove women to give men the incentive with reproduction to encourage them to do the great things so that they can, be the type of men that women want to be with. Now, again, this is me and my philosophy. Let me know if you agree with this. I would most definitely love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments about this whole situation. And I will read through all of them and I'll respond to all of them. And I'll get back with y'all, hopefully with another video soon. And like I always say, duality and balance are the keys to life. Peace.